Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to a video here for the latest Dragon Ball Z s.h.f Figuarts, that is Vegeta older style battle glow. So this is one of the last remaining figures from that Namek lineup that they had at the showroom, I think 2-3 years ago now. So we're slowly getting through all of those Namek releases. I think the only one left now is Nail and Ugly Boy Zabon, but obviously he's been up for pre-order, so that's awesome. Yeah, okay, so this release, so it's come out in the US already, so you might already know about this figure. So if you do and you're watching, thank you, I do appreciate it. But yeah, I gotta say, this is the first time I've been so incredibly impressed with a Vegeta figure while simultaneously being extremely disappointed at how bad it is. This bad boy swings on the pendulum from one extreme to the other, and we'll get into that as we go into the video. And this is something I'm getting a little bit frustrated with a lot of releases lately. I just want to buy a figure and I don't need to be blown away. I just want it to be a solid quality release that ticks all the boxes. Even if those boxes isn't to like a A++ level, at least give me an A- for some, or maybe a B+, I'll be happy. But none of this like A+, then like F, D- type stuff. But anyway, I will get into that a little bit shortly. But you know, the packaging, usual premium bundle release in Japan and the USA, and other regions will be sold by your local distributor. So if you haven't seen pre-orders, yeah, go check out your local distributor and hopefully they'll have stock shortly. But anyway, let's pop him out of the box so we can actually see what he does come with. So we've got Vegeta in the center, and straight away you'll see the replacement armor parts. That's right, one cool feature about this one is you can replace the armor parts, so you can go from the pre-battle damage one, so before he fights Frieza, to post-Frieza battle where he has come back to life and so forth. So that is awesome that we can recreate those iconic scenes. And then we also get the folded arms, and then we get 3 pairs of hands, the flat ones, the grip and the finger spread, the stock standard Vegeta hands. The only thing that's missing is that thumbs up one, but I don't think he does that pose in this get up anyway. Face has got neutral, shouting, teeth gritting, angry. What's that one? Their eyes closed, kind of. That's right, the sleeping pose. So when he's sitting down there on Earth again, he's you know, having a nap against a tree. You know, so to recreate some of those things, right? And then bottom one is that kind of crying one when he's I think after he's been revived, right? Or he's kind of there like in awe or shock about Goku being the legendary Super Saiyan from memory. So yeah, you know, a decent range of expressions. This figure is definitely designed to just recreate that one pose of him floating in the air, in my opinion. But everything else is just supplemental to this release. So yeah, let's check him on the turntable so we can check out the finish on this figure. Okay, so we've got him on the turntable, and as you swing around, one thing I do want to highlight there, I think it's quite nice, is the skin tones. I feel like the base plastic colouring on the face plates does match up well with the painted sections. I do feel like the blue is, it's okay, it's the darker colour, right? It kind of matches that time period from memory. And then the white, I feel the white is looking a bit too white, a bit too base plasticky. It's, yeah, each of the different Vegeta figures, we'll have a look at them kind of lined up a little bit later. It's all kind of slightly different, right? I think personally this colour scheme, this old Namek or battle armour, isn't my favourite of the Saiyan armour. I much prefer, I would say, the Android Saga one, or the Scouter Vegeta with the shoulder flaps, right? This one's not bad, but I do prefer the softer blue opposed to the darker ones. But yeah, that's just personal preference for an overall Vegeta aesthetic. But in terms of the colours in this figure, it's looking pretty good. I think maybe a bit of the matte coating would definitely help. I feel like the arms are really shiny, which isn't quite nice in my opinion. One thing to say though is, I don't know if it's the same for every copy, but my his right arm pops off insanely easy to the point where I can't actually pull out the butterfly joint. So it's really hard to bring it around. You can see this one here, it does pop out. I don't know once I change this arm if it's going to have the same issue, but all I can say is please just make a good design for changing arms that doesn't screw the figure over once you've changed it. Every single time, I don't know, it's just infuriating. Also, I just recreated a pose on the box where he's pulling on the glove. I mean, I feel like if you're going for this, just create us a sculpted hand where the hand is properly in there, pulling the gloves on, opposed to kind of half-assing it like this. It doesn't look that good, and especially the fact that I can't bring my whole arm around. I can't actually really pull off that well. Yeah, I don't know. Give us a sculpted hand. I mean, other companies have done that. I'm sure you could as well. That would make a nice accessory for a Vegeta figure. Especially this one here, to recreate that. I think it would look really good. And that's a missed opportunity, I feel, with this release. But yeah, overall, that is your aesthetic styling for this figure. For a bit of a size or height comparison, we have the recent 15th anniversary one, the Super Saiyan, was it Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, anyway, the blue one. Super Saiyan for Goku, Super Saiyan for Vegeta there. The original Majin Vegeta. So all the heights, size is really good. Also, quick note, anyone else that has the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, has your legs gone crazy loose and non-existent in terms of strength while you've had him? I noticed each time I've taken off the shelf and he's just like super loose, and that joint is basically gone now. So I don't know if you guys are having the same issue. Let me know. I don't remember it being that bad when I got it. So I feel like over time it has gotten worse, which is a shame. Just not all the Vegetas I've got. Anyway, let's pop them off and we can check out the articulation. Okay, so starting with the head, going forward, we kind of get some range of motion. Going back is good, as we can see. Going forward, about a couple of mil motion there, it's not too bad. The swivel is all good. I get some tilt on the lower neck joint as well, so overall not too bad there. Now for the shoulder range here, swivel up and around is all good. There is a slight butterfly joint, but it doesn't really do much. Again, if you kind of pull them out, that's as far as you can get. So straight, massive gap in there, so he can't cross his arms over at all. So it does make it a little bit fiddly. And as I mentioned before, the my joint pops off super easy, so I can't actually get that butterfly joint all the way out. Because if I try to kind of leverage it out, the socket pops off. So if you've got that issue as well, please let me know. And if you manage to fix it, again, I'd love to know. Maybe some varnish or something there to make it a little bit tighter could help. But yeah, moving down to the torso now. And this is where I was shocked. So first off, going back, we get maybe a mil or so of motion back. But going forward, look at that. Absolutely no range. I did not think a figure could dethrone Reno for having the worst ab crunch. This is, yeah, okay, cool. And we'll see why that is actually, because we can change the armor, right? So if we pop this off, it is designed so this will slot in. And I guess due to the way these parts all switch out, there's a joint or a screw that goes all the way through clamping these top parts. And when you try to articulate it forward, can I take that one off? There we go. That top part will hit onto this armor. So without it, we actually get a few mil of motion there, slightly. Not huge, but a little bit of motion, definitely better than before. So yeah, to, I guess, allow us to change armor, they picked the design which gave us zero articulation. I think I would have just preferred non-changing armor and articulation, or a fully swappable torso. I mean, it's premium Bandai after all. We are already paying a premium for the figure compared to a normal retail release. I think the least they could do is give us an articulated figure. I mean, that's what we're trying to buy after all, right? Massive con, really surprised. So yeah, Reno, not looking that bad after all, I guess. I guess we can move over to the arm, and we do get the upper bicep swivel. The elbow joint's actually pretty decent, double jointed, get a nice range of motion, and then the wrist peg is good as well. So that's not too bad. Now let's come down to the waist area. We do get a swivel, which is nice. That's one thing that Reno can't do. So it's nice that at least Vegeta can swivel around. Now coming down to the legs, this is where I was surprised. I think this is one of the better Vegeta releases with the leg articulation. Everything's quite fluid, kind of decent range of motion. I mean, some others are probably similar range of motion, but compared to most, I think the Vegeta one here is actually improved, right? Especially going back, we get upper thigh swivel, the knee joint's pretty decent. So yeah, this is what I mean, like, some odd choices, right? However, the ankle articulation, we can actually tilt inwards, but you can't tilt outwards. I mean, you get some motion going down, which isn't too bad. Okay, that P just popped out, so if you push it too far, it'll come off instead. So again, basically non-existent ankle range of motion, and then you got your toe tip. Again, just give us a proper articulated Vegeta figure. What do we have to do to get him? Every Vegeta release is basically done dirty. Oh my god, poor Vegeta. He deserves better. Yeah, let's move over to the faceplates. Surely that has to be better than the articulation, right? So yeah, I guess at least compared to articulation, the faceplates are good. Printing's crisp and clean. The detail on the angry look with the kind of sweat on there as well is great. Love the veins popping. The sleeping one's quite good. He definitely looks like he's a little bit miffed, which is nice. And then obviously the kind of chrome one is good as well. Now obviously in the anime it wasn't completely white. It was kind of like an outline only. So it does look a little bit odd that this one has a solid white. But I guess that's the limitation of such fine detail. Maybe many years down the line we can get something a bit more accurate to the anime itself, but overall I think this is definitely a good representation, and that face or little quiver is definitely nice. So I've switched out all the armor parts on Vegeta and put him into the pose which I think this figure was solely created and designed for, and yeah, he sits there all sad, depressed, questioning his life choices. As he's being pierced through, right through the stomach, and just floating in the air, crying. But yeah, the armor plate's awesome, the detailing there is nice. We can switch it out like this, kind of similar to the Krillin release as well. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the printing of their face is really cool, the detail, it is really cool, and it definitely is a cool collection item or a piece for your collection to spice it up, especially to kind of recreate those iconic scenes from the anime, and that's one thing that's cool. I do enjoy getting kind of figures that can recreate iconic scenes, because it's fun, and it does add a lot of flavour. It's cool for photos as well, and just for a way to pose it in your collection as well for a little bit of variety, especially when you do end up getting multiples of certain characters, especially the main ones, right? I mean, we all have probably 101 Gokus already, and maybe half a dozen Vegetas, because he definitely hasn't had that many in comparison, but generally if you've been collecting for a while, you will have multiples of a character, so being able to spice up the way you display is nice. So we switched now into the other iconic scene or pose from the series when they've been teleported back to Earth, and lo and behold, Vegeta is there as well, just chilling against a tree, taking a nap after the long battles, right? So yeah, we switched over the folded arms. Actually, compared to most releases, pretty straightforward to put on. Like I said earlier, the right shoulder is super loose, that comes on and off easy. My left one was really tight, and when I was changing it around before, actually the whole shoulder joint came out, so do be careful of that. If it does happen, you can kind of slow back in and try and pull in a different angle, or you might need to get some pliers to pull the parts, the two shoulder joints apart, and then you can reattach everything. So a bit fiddly, not the best, but actually surprisingly better than recent figures where they've had the changing the arms into a folded arm look, right? But anyway, the faceplate is awesome. I love this one here, and yeah, I think this is probably going to be the pose I might go with for him in my collection as well, just something a bit different. Yeah, I like the versatility that this figure is giving, at least with the expressions. Yeah, you can recreate the core iconic scenes with Vegeta from the series where he is wearing this armor. Okay, so we have Vegeta here in a lineup to wrap up the video with those pros and cons. Let's start positive, right? The pros, those faceplates are great, the expressions, I love that little sleeping one, really nice. This one here, definitely my favourite. The kind of crying, sweating one is really cool as well. The fact that we can recreate the battle damage and no battle damage for the armor is great, so it does give us a lot of variety there. That is nice, and the parts are actually pretty easy to switch on and off. Despite the issues, the folded arms is a slight improvement over past versions. Yeah, the leg articulation is pretty decent, elbow articulation is decent, head, yeah, not bad, right? The colouring of the face to the painted parts pretty good as well, and it pairs up well there. But you know what, I think that's probably where the pros end. Obviously the huge cons with this figure is, again, like we get no articulation in the torso there in the ab area. The feet articulation is almost non-existent as well. The shoulder range is poor. The arms just pop out as well. It's not a well-rounded figure. And I think that's probably a way to put it, right? Like, if you compare with the other figures here, like these ones, right? They're old. Like, basically, VEGETA has not changed since, what, 2017, 16, give or take, right? Now I think it's kind of sad for such an iconic character. He keeps getting poorly created figures, the ones that haven't evolved, right? Up until about 2019, 2020, 2021. Yeah, I can probably understand it now, but since then we've had so many more advancements in articulation, styles. The Naruto line has shown so many great choices with articulation, Jujutsu Kaisen line as well. Even in the Dragon Ball line, like the Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, even the Super Saiyan 4 ones showed great improvements in terms of articulation, yet here we are with Vegeta. Yeah, you know, it's just such a poorly overall created figure in my opinion. Especially for premium Bandai release, right? Like, I understand wanting to change the armor, that is great, and this figure definitely feels like it's been created just to recreate that one pose of him like floating in the air, and that's fine. I don't mind when a figure is created around one iconic scene, just like the Tokyo Store exclusive Goku with that kind of translucent appearance. Obviously that's created for the ending scene. It's amazing, it looks great, one of my favorites, but it's still poseable. You can still do other poses, right? Whereas it feels like this Vegeta is severely limited in what he can do, just to accommodate this kind of broken armor, be able to change it and do that kind of floating pose, right? And that's why I don't really think this is a good figure overall. These are articulated figures, yet you can't really articulate them, and I think that is a huge failing. And then it kind of looks a bit cheap with the colouring as well. I mean, this is a premium Bandai release, so we are paying a premium for them, right? Or we're buying directly from Bandai, so we can kind of get these unique characters, ones which may not be as mainstream or popular or variants and so forth, right? Now, so we pay a bit more for that, and that's fine. But I think if we are going to get these characters, I would rather pay a little bit more to get something that is a complete figure that has quality. Now, I want to, do you agree? Is that something that you are after as well? Because yeah, I think like for this price point, it is a disappointing figure. It's not one that I would recommend. If you're after a updated Vegeta for your collection, I highly recommend the budget release Vegeta. Again, older style articulation, but some changes, and overall a solid release and cheap, right? If you want, say the updated Scout one here, this one is another cool figure. Same limitations of Vegeta figures with especially the legs and feet area, but here's cool. The shoulders are, you know, yay or nay depending on who you are, but overall updated compared to the original one and really cool, great faces and expressions, you know. So I think like when you look at the other options we have around, if you haven't already pre-ordered this figure, he isn't one that I would say you should get unless you are like me and you're wanting to kind of collect every Dragon Ball figure, you know, Z or DB, or you know, maybe a specific arc, in this case the Namek Saga, right? In that case, yeah, definitely grab him, because I doubt we will get this version of Vegeta again. But if you're just after a Vegeta to add in your collection, there are better options. Which is sad to say, because overall pretty cool, you know, the faces, the parts, a lot of fun with this release. And same for the section of hands, right? Showcasing him doing the whole pulling of the glove. Why not give us a properly created hand or pair of hands to attach, to recreate that? Something in line with the Naruto figures, where even the recent Shikamaru figure, right? He had the two hands which came paired together to do his jutsu, right? So something like that would work wonderfully with this release, to do that kind of pulling on the glove, opposed to trying to make it work with the hands we have and it's just not quite looking that great unless you're looking on one specific angle, and even then it's just not perfect, right? So I feel like definitely huge room for improvement for this figure, and it feels like something out of 2019, 2020, opposed to a figure being released in 2025. And that's where I'm at with this figure. Definitely a disappointment. I want to see better from Tamashii Nation, especially in the Dragon Ball Z lineup. I don't know, a few disappointing releases lately. Yeah, surprisingly the Daima Kid ones have been the better releases in recent time. Surprised to say that, but they are actually really fun. So do check out those if you haven't already. And if you've been watching the Daima series and getting more into it, definitely check out the Chibi, Goku, and Piccolo one especially. Again, Vegeta one, I think he's the weakest one, but I'm pretty excited for that, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about this release. What are your gripes with it? What would you like to see different as well? Because I'm really keen to hear what everyone else thinks, and maybe it's just me being a bit negative in this case for this one, but definitely, yeah, I wanted more from it. But anyway, that is it for the video. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!